Until the War on Terrorism, Vietnam held the title as the longest conflict in American history. By April 1975, as the war drew to a close, 57,939 American soldiers were killed or missing in action, with an estimated 250,000 South Vietnamese soldiers also losing their lives. The Gulf of Tonkin incident ignited this significant conflict, which initially consisted of small counterinsurgency missions. President Lyndon Johnson used this incident as justification to seek congressional approval for increased military funding and expanded American involvement in Vietnam, ultimately leading to a major conflict lasting until April 1975. Johnson had personal and financial interests in the war, including investments in the military armaments industry, particularly in companies like the Hughes Aircraft Company, which manufactured helicopters used in the conflict. How did Johnson sway public opinion and Congress to support involvement in Vietnam? What truths were concealed behind the events that the public remained unaware of? Hello, I'm Colin Heaton, a military veteran, historian, and author. Welcome to this episode of Forgotten History. On August 2, 1964, 3 North Vietnamese torpedo boats attacked the USS Maddox DD-731 in international waters in the Gulf of Tonkin. This event, undisputedly, occurred. Following the attack, President Johnson took action, citing a subsequent attack on August 4th against the Maddox and the USS Turner Joy as justification for military response. However, declassified documents paint a different picture. The incident on August 4th involved faulty equipment, bad weather, and inexperienced radar and sonar operators, leading to misinterpretations and false reports of enemy presence. Despite evidence to the contrary, Johnson presented these events as an unprovoked attack, justifying military action in Vietnam. In reality, the North Vietnamese response was prompted by U.S.-supported South Vietnamese commando attacks and intelligence-gathering operations, known as Operations Plan 34A. These missions, led by Lieutenant General William C's Westmoreland, shifted from commando attacks to using South Vietnamese patrol boats for bombardments after earlier missions failed. Johnson's administration used the Gulf of Tonkin Resolution, approved by Congress on August 7, 1964, to escalate U.S. involvement in Vietnam, despite questionable evidence. The war became a reality based on deception. Johnson profited financially from the war, as his investments in military-related industries surged with escalating troop presence. The conflict extended into Laos and Cambodia, drawing a coalition of nations to combat communism. Johnson's aggressive pursuit of war in Vietnam, driven by personal gain, caused unnecessary suffering and loss of life. In the aftermath of the Vietnam War, questions lingered about the true motivations behind President Lyndon Johnson's push for increased American involvement. His personal wealth saw a remarkable surge during his tenure, largely attributed to the escalating conflict in Vietnam. Upon assuming office, Johnson's net worth stood at around $400,000, which included assets from his wife Lady Bird's media ventures. However, by the time he left office, his net worth had ballooned to $15 million, equivalent to approximately $109.3 million today. The war in Vietnam proved lucrative for Johnson, as his investments in military-related industries flourished with each surge in troop deployment. Furthermore, his family's media holdings, including television and radio stations, became affiliates of major networks like CBS, allowing them to control the narrative in Texas. However, the true cost of Johnson's pursuit of war was measured in human lives. The conflict spilled over into neighboring countries like Laos and Cambodia, drawing a coalition of nations to combat the spread of communism. South Korea, Thailand, Australia, and New Zealand all suffered casualties in the fight against communism, with soldiers sacrificing their lives in a war that many viewed as unnecessary and fueled by deception. Vice Admiral James Stockdale, a prisoner of war in Vietnam, characterized Johnson's actions as deceitful and driven by a desire for war at any cost. Stockdale himself endured years of brutal captivity, earning multiple military honors for his resilience and bravery. In conclusion, the Vietnam War stands as a stark reminder of the human toll of political ambition and the devastating consequences of deception. President Johnson's pursuit of personal wealth through military escalation led to untold suffering and loss, leaving a dark stain on American history. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Forgotten History. If you found this content engaging, consider supporting our channel to help us continue producing insightful content. Like, share, and comment, and don't hesitate to reach out with your thoughts or suggestions for future episodes. Until next time.